What's happening, Hardscapers? Today I want to talk about mitering, when I do miter, when I don't, what I think about it. Let's get into it. I wanted to use this video to just do a general statement about mitering, my thoughts, my beliefs on mitering, when I do it, when I don't, and just my default thinking around mitering. Now, mitering is essentially whenever you get to a corner somewhere, you're going to cut at a 45 degree to match that 90 degree corner, or really realistically whatever that degree is in that corner, cutting two pieces at an angle to meet that corner, rather than the alternative being just squaring that off, running a full piece and maybe a 90 degree cut piece for that 90 degree corner. I personally do not like aesthetically and functionally miters. Personally, it is not in my taste. I prefer to go square, if at all and when at all possible. This means things like the soldier or sailor course of a border for a paver project, or even the caps to a fire feature or a seat wall or a retaining wall. Whenever I can, I will not miter any of my pieces, any of my cuts in these to make it fit nicely. Not that I completely hate miters, but personally I just don't enjoy it aesthetically. I don't think it's aesthetically pleasing when compared to just squaring it off and running a soldier sailor course or caps square to that, rather than having to miter. Functionally, it increases a weak point in that cap or paver section that is coming to a point, and those can crack under load, especially if it's a paver border and you're going to be compacting it with polymeric sand consolidation or just the jointing compound. That is a point of weakness for that to crack, or even in the future, those miters present points of weaknesses that may crack in the future. I'm not saying that all mitering jobs look bad. I actually enjoy some of the work that people put out there with their miters. I just prefer a squared off look much better. When done right, miters can look absolutely stunning, but there are some functional reasons why I prefer not to do corners, as well as aesthetic personal reasons why I prefer not to do any miters. When I can, I will plan my projects to not have to do any miters and to only have to just lay full pieces or even just 90 degree cuts on my caps, pavers, whatever it might be, to run along my retaining walls, seat walls, fire pits, and even paver borders. Now, this isn't always the case. I do sometimes miter. For example, this project where I did a concrete overlay on the porch, we decided to miter the caps on this corner because with the pillar that was already existing there, it didn't make sense to do a squared off corner here. That would have presented a major weak point in that cap that would have run the full length, as we'd have a squared off area in that cap that would have been cut to make room for that pillar, and then a full piece to meet that piece. It just didn't make sense. It made more sense functionally and aesthetically in this situation to do a miter on these caps 45 degrees to meet that 90 degree corner, and to then have them meet as that. Another opportunity to do a miter would be on an inside corner where two caps are meeting and one has a rock face. It doesn't quite make sense to shave off that rock face in that small little area where the caps will meet and slide it over. It makes more sense to miter those corners on an inside corner to allow those to fit nicely. However, for most applications, I'm not going to miter. For example, this fire pit, this is a 4-foot fire pit and we want 1-inch overhang, so it makes sense that we have 4-foot caps for this project to reduce waste as much as possible. These 4-foot caps are going to be cut off less 1 foot, less an inch from that 1 foot to give us our 1-inch overhang. So 11 inches are getting cut off of these 4-foot caps. Now, if we were going to miter, we would actually have to step this up to 6-foot caps because they don't have the 5-foot caps available in this product line. So then we'd have to go to 6-foot caps. Then we'd have to miter these caps by 4 feet along the long side and mitered at 45 degrees. And that just introduces much more waste than if we were to square these pieces off. And just aesthetically, with a square patio, that just looks much more pleasing to me. Additionally, when planning caps for a retaining wall, for a seat wall, whatever that might be, I'm going to look at the most efficient use of my caps. Typically, we're only using 4-foot natural stone caps in these applications. So I'm going to plan this out with my wall. What looks most aesthetically pleasing, whether we're going to do just a 90-degree corner or if we're going to miter that corner, but also what works best to have the least amount of waste on that project, as well as to reduce the number of slivers in that project. The more that we can plan for this, the more that we can plan for as little waste as possible. Little waste means less cost to us, which also means less cost to the client. And in that situation, everybody wins, as well as the design just looks much more aesthetically pleasing. So I'm not 100% against mitering. It does have its applications, it does have its uses, it does add labor costs and waste sometimes to a specific project. So you do need to factor that into your project. Factor that into the labor portion of a project if you are going to be mitering whenever and wherever in that project. I'd love to know your thoughts on mitering in the comments section below. Let me know, miter yes or no, why or why not? Do you disagree or agree with anything that I said here? Leave it all in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you think on this topic. And if you want to learn more about hardscaping, we've got many resources, courses available on members.howtohardscape.com. You can check that link in the description below. We've got courses on interlocking concrete pavement installation, retaining wall installation, gas fire feature builds, lighting installation, and so much more that is coming each and every month on running and operating your hardscaping business, including knowing your numbers, planning for a budget, how to estimate projects, and so much more that we've got looking forward to there in the future. So once again, link in the description below for the How to Hardscape members only platform if you want to learn more about hardscaping. And additionally, we've got the How to Hardscape podcast where we bring on industry experts to interview them about how they run and operate their businesses, what got them into hardscaping, as well as many other industry experts outside of the industry to discuss how to own and operate a hardscaping business or just a contracting business in general to help you along the way. Link is in the description below for that, or just search How to Hardscape on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you may listen to podcasts. Like this video if you found it helpful for whatever reason, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more hardscaping content. Thank you so much for watching.